What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Thank you very much for joining me here on Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture podcast. First of all, right at the top of the show, I want to give a big thank you to anyone who watched, hung out in chat, or donated to, especially my Extra Life stream, which happened this past weekend. Actually, as I'm recording this, I'm just coming off of the 25-hour marathon stream. I took a little nap, slept for a little bit. Now we're back up, recording the show for you guys. So we had some really awesome times. We got through the Destiny raid, so shout out to my clan for explaining that whole process to me. I was brand new at that, but we got through it. That was so much fun. That was so exciting. We played some really weird games. We played some really awesome, fun games. Lots of cool stuff on the Switch. We played some retro games. It really ran the gamut of stuff that we were into, that we were doing. And yeah, we had a blast. And as of right now, I'm very happy to report we've raised $300 for Riley Children's Hospital. So that's actually triple what I had initially set as my goal for the entire Extra Life fundraising. So I'm just over the moon ecstatic about how well this turned out. So again, huge thank you to anyone who donated to the stream, to anyone who donated to me, to anyone who watched. You can still donate, if you've missed out the opportunity now, but want to, you can visit prettydeceshow.com/extralife. You will find a link to the donation page there. So more than happy to take your donations for Extra Life and specifically for the Riley Children's Hospital. But again, huge thank you, huge shout out to the donations and the donors that we have had so far. It's been fantastic. So if you want to watch the Extra Life stream, all 25 hours of it, but you couldn't watch it live, you can check that out on YouTube. It's being uploaded actually as we speak, so you can find that on the Pretty Dece channel on YouTube and check out all of the ridiculous shenanigans. You can watch me start to nod off as we get to, around 6 in the morning as we have the end of the stream coming up. Super fun. Managed to rally and make it through, but 25 hours is a long time. So let's get into some new stuff. Let's get into the big story of the day, which is BlizzCon. So BlizzCon, of course, is the big kind of convention or place for announcements for Blizzard. Blizzard is the game company behind World of Warcraft and Hearthstone and Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft. They do everything. They do a ton of stuff, and their games are massive. And they're so massive that they can warrant their own convention. They get to do it all on their own. They get to sort of call their own shots. And BlizzCon, tons of people go to every year, and there are tons of big Blizzard announcements every year. And this year was no different whatsoever. So I wanted to run down some of the big announcements that happened at BlizzCon. If you were watching the video version of Pretty Dece, you see some of the images of what was announced behind me right now. You get getting a little taste of it. If you're listening to the audio version and want to check out the video version, just search on YouTube for Pretty Dece. You will find the channel, and you can subscribe there and check out everything that we're seeing. But the images that you're seeing behind me now are for the first thing that I want to talk about, which is a new Overwatch hero that got announced. Of course, I really like Overwatch. I'm not good at Overwatch, but I do really like it. This new hero is the 26th hero that the game will have, so there are a ton of hero options now in Overwatch with the ones that they've added. And this new hero is a support character, which means kind of focused on healing and kind of buffing the other players. And her name is Moira. So she is kind of what I would describe as a kind of techno witch / techno vampire. She is I think a geneticist is what her backstory is. But basically she has two hands, and one hand is kind of a healing hand and one hand is a damage hand. So all of her abilities, she can kind of, or most of her abilities, she can kind of toggle back and forth between healing and damaging. So her first ability, just to run down what she has a Biotic Grasp. So it's just a healing ray that she can shoot out and heal people, kind of as you would expect from a healer type character. But she can also use her other hand and turn that into a damage ray. So she can point it at an enemy and hurt them and actually kill them with it. So, she's not just a pure healing character. She can flip over and actually do some damage if someone kind of gets up in her face about it. In a similar way, instead of a ray, she can use her Biotic Orb, which is this ball that she can use to heal multiple people. So it kind of tethers to them as she throws it out. She can also throw out a damage version of that will tether to enemies and does a very similar thing. She can fade, which is kind of a teleport. And finally, her actual big super move is called Coalescence. And it's basically a long-range healing beam that also hurts enemies. So she doesn't have to toggle that back and forth. It just depends on who you point it at, whether you are healing people or damaging them. So that's super powerful if your team is, doing really well, if everyone's healed up and you're pressing the enemy. She can go in full-on damage mode and start pointing her Coalescence Ray at all of the enemies. Or if your team is on the ropes and really needs health, she can, pop her special and go crazy on healing her team. Or just to mix therein, whoever she sees in her crosshairs, she can bounce back and forth as it goes. It seems super fun. It seems super, super powerful. So I'm very excited to get in and check out Mora. Aside from that, they announced a new map for Overwatch that's actually really cool. Normally I wouldn't talk about just, new maps that get added. But this map is called Blizzard World, which is a fictional theme park that they are creating for Blizzard that you'll be able to run around in the game and fight in. And there's going to be lots of kind of fan service in it is what it seems. There's going to be an arcade based on Heroes of the Storm. There's going to be some area based on Azeroth from World of Warcraft. And there's going to be Hearthstone-inspired areas. So kind of all the big games that you would expect, they're going to be represented in Blizzard World. It'll probably be a really fun map just to kind of run around when you're not even fighting, just to check out all the little jokes and all the little areas that are going on in it. And some people, I think, are very, very sad that Blizzard World is not a thing in real life that they can attend. BlizzCon is the closest thing they can get to. Moving on from their big announcements, kind of an interesting one. StarCraft 2 is going free to play. You'll be able to download the Wings of Liberty expansion, which is the first expansion for StarCraft 2, completely free. Play that all the way through. Ranked matchmaking is going to be free as well, but has to be unlocked before you are, as a free player, able to get into that. The remaining expansions, so outside of Wings of Liberty, the other three will be $14.99 a piece. So still, that's not too bad to play through some more single-player content. But if you want to get in and play StarCraft 2 completely for free, never putting a penny down, you're now able to do that. That's probably what that game needed at this point. It's been out for several years, and I'm not sure about the community, but it probably did need the little bump back of player count and stuff. So probably a very, very smart play for them to be making right now to make that game free. So if you've ever been interested in StarCraft 2, now would be the time to hop in and check out that single player content. It's something that I'm never going to get into actual competitive multiplayer StarCraft 2. It's just I do not have the capacity or the reflexes basically to be good at that game. But the single player stuff I've heard is really interesting and really good. So that might actually be worth hopping in just to play through the single player content. So that's free now for anyone to jump in. And we also found out in Hearthstone news that Hearthstone's next expansion has a name. We found out a bit about it. It's called Kobolds and Catacombs. So basically, this is kind of a classic fantasy expansion for Hearthstone. You're going to be exploring dungeons and finding loot. It's basically Dungeons and Dragons, but for Hearthstone. And that's very clear in the "and" in the logo. It looks very similar to the Dungeons and Dragons logo, and so they're definitely kind of trying to do an homage to Dungeons and Dragons. I think the big thing that they announced, of course, they previewed a couple cards here and there that you'll be able to get in the new set. Of course, and as with any new set, it comes with tons of new cards and new mechanics and stuff. The thing that is most interesting to me with this is a new single-player mode that's being added to the game. And this single player mode is it's called Dungeon Run, and basically there are 8 kind of random bosses that get drawn for you as you start. You start with a deck, and you get to add cards to it as you beat bosses. So you're kind of leveling up, making your deck more powerful as you go. But if you lose, that deck gets thrown out, and you have to start all over. So it's not like you can, save your cool build or like try again. It is kind of a one and done type situation. So it's very much like a roguelike, but for a card game for Hearthstone, which I think is a really, really fascinating prospect. I think that's not something that I can think of has ever been done before. So I'm really interested to see how they implement this. Is this going to be like Arena, where you have to actually pay gold to get in and actually do a run? Is this going to be more single player focused, where maybe it doesn't have payouts, but it's just something fun to do as you play? It'll be very interesting to see how they decide to go about that. I kind of hope it leans more towards the arena route, because I can really see myself playing a ton of this. It seems super fun. It seems to add something to arena that I don't feel like is really there right now. But I'd also like to, get rewards from it and get packs and stuff from it. So, I'd be very interested if they decided to, charge like 150 gold or whatever to do a run. But then you got actually cards and were able to, earn stuff out of it. But we'll see. We're not really sure kind of what direction that's going to take so far. And finally, the last thing that they announced, the last big thing we're hearing about from BlizzCon, lots of people are incredibly excited about this. I can't stress how much excitement I'm hearing about this particular announcement. And this is for World of Warcraft. This is a vanilla server that they'll be able to play on. It's called World of Warcraft Classic. So when I say vanilla, I mean original World of Warcraft without any of the expansions as it was when it came out. This is something, again, people have been clamoring for. People have been, playing this sort of vanilla experience of World of Warcraft on these, very illegal servers. They're like kind of weird Russian servers that get run that people play on just because there's not an official option. There's not a way from Blizzard to play that stuff, to go back and see that content. So you're going to be able to now. You're going to be able to play that stuff. You're going to be able to go back and get it. You're going to be able to go and see what the experience when World of Warcraft came out. You're going to know exactly what that is like. So this is in addition to their current WoW offerings. So there is a new expansion that's coming out based around Azeroth, the Battle for Azeroth, but this is an additional thing you'll be able to do. And I imagine they think that they're going to rope in a lot of people who, aren't interested in maybe new WoW stuff or anything like that, but they want the nostalgia of like, hey, when I played that in college or, whatever. So I think that they think they're going to be able to kind of bring a lot of those people back in just on a pure nostalgia sake, which I'm definitely sure that they are going to be able to do. It'll be interesting to see kind of if they do any like quality of life improvements, or if it's literally just the exact game that they have spun up a server for. But we won't know until they, announce more details or until it comes out. So that is a good collection of the announcements from BlizzCon. Lots of really interesting stuff. Seemed like some bigger announcements this year. But maybe I could be just more excited about Blizzard games this year than previously. So again, thank you very much for joining me on Pretty Dece, and thank you very much for participating in the Extra Life stream. We'll be back tomorrow for more content for another episode. In the meantime, please subscribe for daily episodes. Thanks.